Hello, gamers. Welcome back to. Well, this is a very different video from my previous videos, but we're going to get into the theory side of Five Nights at Freddy's, and we're going to start off with a very early theory of mine years ago when I was like in middle school, and this is my timeline, and I never finished it past Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Uh, but this is my timeline. Starts with Finance Phrase 4. This is pre Stillwell. I think this is basically, I guess, uncontested would be the word you would use. No one really um argues that Finance Phrase 4 is the first game. This is where things get interesting though, and I decided to put sister location in next in line. And I did that as like the sister location side thing starts afterwards. And then finance phrase 2, finance phrase, and then pizzeria simulator right after, and then put finance phrase 3. My reasoning is I don't remember what my reasoning was, considering I'm pretty sure Finance Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator is a finale. Um, so I'm trying to figure out what my reasoning was. I think is because Five Nights at Freddy's 3, it took place so long ago that, like, it seemed like, post Fazbear Entertainment, um, and somehow Springtrap survived, but, yeah, I think this part didn't really age well. This, Pizzeria Simulator should be afterwards, and then, of course, ending with Ultimate Custom Night. I have 2 versions of this that I found. I'm not sure why. This one's a little bit different, but we'll go through both of them and see how well they aged so far. So, here was my take on Finance of Phrase 2, and I haven't read this in quite a while, so. It all started with William Afton, the founder of Fazbear Entertainment. He made Fredbear's Family Diner and even a TV show. Okay. When Elizabeth was born, his wife died. Okay, so this is where, again, there's more guessing. Um, so yeah, I guess we don't really know what happens with his wife, so it's really just all guessing, isn't it? He made his kids toys, a toy version of Bonnie, a toy version of Chica, a toy version of Freddy, and due to a request from his daughter, a girly toy version of Foxy. Okay. And this was like my take, my explanation of the toy animatronics, and I think I'm going to stick with this, is that the toy animatronics in Finance of Phrase 2 were created by William Afton after the exclusive toys that he created for his children. Either that or there is a toy line and they had exclusive versions of those characters. Either one of those, I think, would be fitting. Elizabeth broke Toy Foxy, but she was okay with it. Eh. His older son, Michael, was very mean to his other son. His other son would be William's other son. One day, Michael and his friends made him go into Fredbear's mouth. Then Fredbear's jaw closed. He went in a coma, having nightmares. Then he died. Fredbear's Family Diner was shut down. Okay, I I think it can work still. Um, yeah, the alternate version, I think everything else is the same, but this one is interesting to me. His older son, Michael, was very mean to his other son, of course, William's other son and daughter. He broke Elizabeth's toy Foxy because he thought of Foxy as only being a boy and bullied his younger brother with a Foxy mask. I think this theory is very plausible. Um, just going off right off the bat, I feel like it's a very good explanation for why that toy is broken. And this one adds, he punished Michael by making him hallucinate monsters at night. But I really like this one where Michael had broke um his sister's toy Foxy, because he did not like the idea of Foxy being changed in that way. Of Foxy being a girl character, he only saw Foxy as a boy and thought, that hey, you're kind of ruining the Foxy character for me, basically. As for why that moves into Finance Phrase 2, I kind of take the position that there is a curse involving Mangle. I don't have evidence to substantiate that. It's, of course, just guessing. That would be my take, though. Let's continue. After the closing of Fredbear's Family Diner, he made Circus Baby's Pizza World. Then Elizabeth got killed by Baby. He designed Baby to kill kids. He was angry after the death of his son and wanted others to feel what he felt. This is my only really explanation as to why. This is like, again, before, you know, this is like me not reading the books, not paying attention to much besides just what I've seen online. Um, through gameplay footage, I didn't play most of these games, so, and I didn't really take into consideration like what was his first murder, how did that start? Chica saying that she was the first, she's seen everything. Um, what motivated William to, you know, go on a killing spree. But Elizabeth was not supposed to die. After this, he sold Fazbear Entertainment. Is there any different from here? World, okay. Okay. No. It's I don't know if I would still have this take. Not really. Um well, like, I think he does make Circus Pizza World. I'm more saying like what his motivation one. It kind of skips over a lot, doesn't it? But whatever. William Afton became a technician for Fazbear Entertainment and made all the animatronics kill. Interesting, comma. Michael Afton came to work for the sister location, only to then be killed and turned to a murderer. This made William mad. So this is like me trying to figure out what was going on in that mini game. I guess you could call it mini game, whatever. At the end of each night in sister location, um, and the animatronics kill again. Um, no knowledge on anything else besides really just games. And that's kind of how I'm going to go for a little bit until we get to Finds Phrase 4. After Finds Phrase 4. William Afton made the toy characters he made for his kids. He also made them with a system that would keep out this imposter of his son. Oh, huh. Um, have I heard that before? I'm sure, because they do have a database. Maybe. No, I will have to think about that more. He went insane and went on killing spree. This is interesting because over here, whatever, he used the purple Freddy suit to lure kids. So, well, hold on. That's interesting. That is interesting. Okay, okay. It's talking about the purple Freddy suit in Find Freddy's 2. People call it Shadow Freddy. Huh. Okay. Maybe. My whole thing is what murders really occurred in the Finance Phrase 2 location and what happened with the birthday? A yellow suit was taken, not a purple Freddy suit. But I feel like I'm trying to think of like before Steel Wool. What was the story really supposed to be? That'll be something I have to figure out when I get to it. But my biggest issue was the mini games. Where the murders occur, it seems to not take place in the Finds Phrase 2 location, and let me explain before everyone goes insane. Foxy's I'm pretty sure I could be wrong. There's a mini game involving Foxy where you have to run or something like that. It takes place at that location. Finds Phrase 1 location, right? Finds Phrase 2 doesn't have that version of Foxy, at least at Pirate's Cove. So it's a lot of references to the Finds Phrase 2 1 location, but also the puppet sometimes shows up. So I'll whatever. And I made this one the same. Okay, I think this is fine, but not the route we're going to take. But we'll keep a lot of this in mind. I think some of this is very interesting. I think it has some very interesting takes that he used the purple Freddy suit. Um, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think so. The purple Freddy suit is withered. Last I checked, it wouldn't really be something you would lure kids with. But the yellow rabbit suit, we'll get there when we get there. So here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to get into Finance Phrase 2 until I release my theory video on Finance Phrase 1. That video is basically going to stay exclusive to Finance Phrase 1, and it's not going to really go use evidence from outside sources, with one exception being the movie. But I do make the argument that you could probably reasonably come to the same conclusion without the movie. It's just a bonus, I guess. I mm, there might not be a video for a few days. I could post some videos. It might not be finance phrase related, but I won't get into 2 until after that video. I mostly got my take solidified. I feel like I just need to write a script, I guess, so I'm not rambling, and that means less editing. Great. But yeah, that's been this episode. Let me know in your comments what your thoughts are on this. If you agree or disagree with something, let me know. Again, this is not where you're supposed to take the books into consideration. Um, I definitely disagree with this one. Absolutely. Pizzeria Simulator is a finale. Yeah, that's going to be the end of this episode. Goodbye.